Hi everybody, the video today is all about puppy mouthing. I'm going to explain why they do it, how to get them to stop it, and more importantly, how to actually get them to bite something that's more appropriate and still get enjoyment from it. Let's jump into it. Hi everybody, I'm Claude from Canine IQ Dog Training. Thank you for visiting my YouTube channel. Really appreciate your support. The video today is all about mouthing in puppies, and because I want to go through all of the different reasons why puppies mouth, it's important that we watch the video right the way through to the end. So the intent is to actually break down all the different reasons and the behaviors as to why the puppies actually mouth, the importance of it, and more importantly, how to channel it into more constructive behaviors. So the very first thing that we need to come to terms with is understanding that mouthing is a natural communication tool. If you watch two puppies play, you'll see a lot of things happening. They'll use their paw, they'll use their mouth, they'll use their body position, they'll try and do everything they can to promote some kind of behavior in things that they're trying to deal with. So mouthing is a very natural way for a dog to communicate, and what we need to do is to actually try and make them realize that there are more constructive ways to mouth or to use their mouth other than just using their teeth. So following on from that, I need to explain that effectively mouthing isn't aggression. I did a behavioural consultation for a dog that was effectively declared, or trying to be declared by council, as a dangerous dog, simply because it accidentally headbutted a child. Now, there was nothing malicious about the incident. It was just one of these accidents that happened. But in order to assess that the dog wasn't dangerous, I needed to push it to the point that it would be mouthing or trying to bite me. So the next video footage is about me getting pretty invasive with the dog to try and push an aggressive behavior to induce mouthing. And you'll see in all the situations that I'm doing, the response is very measured, and the mouthing was simply communication with me to tell me to stop doing what I was doing because the dog was finding it unpleasant and uncomfortable. So you'll definitely see in the context of the video that mouthing was not aggression, but it was just the dog trying to communicate with me. And I'm really getting in his face. So if ever there was going to be a time that people would get bitten, it's here. And his default behavior is to mouth, right? But again, mouthing on tender skin will cause a cut. Mouthing on tough leather causes nothing. Come on. Hey, good boy, come on. Right, so that was pretty severe, but even then, there's zero damage, right? And this is a pretty severe behavior that I'm actually introducing to him. So the whole prodding and pulling is the only way that I can get any kind of a reaction from him, and even then, it's a measured response where it's mouthing, right? And there's a big difference between mouthing-based behaviors and a full-on bite. Okay. So this is Bonnie. She's a 4-month-old Kelpie cross female. This is the kind of puppy that just about every dog trainer wants to own. Lots of drive, lots of attitude, really wants to work. But along with that comes a lot of really strong communication. So this is a dog that's incredibly mouthy, incredibly pushy, incredibly tactile. And I'll be using her to demonstrate how to stop the mouthing when you don't want it to happen. So now having a good old wriggle. Good go. So even in the context of this, if she's licking me, I don't want to have a bad association with my hand. Yep. I'm not going to take it away. If I do that, alright, good girl, good girl. So I wanted to realise that if you're licking my hand, that's a positive interaction, but I'm not going to take my hand away if you bite me. Hey, good girl. Yes, good girl. Ah! Yes. Good girl. Yeah, it's a band-aid. Feels like a towel. Ah! Hey, good girl. So the very first exercise you have to do for the next. So to sum it up, these are the most important things that we need to remember if we want to have good success at getting the dogs to deal with mouthing. Firstly is we need to allow the interaction. The last thing that you want is for the puppy to have any bad association with your hand for whatever reason. We don't want the dog to be hypersensitive with the hands, and we don't want the dog to be freaked out about it. So we need to allow the interaction because, again, like we talked about, the interaction is purely communication. We definitely do want to reward good contact. So the puppy needs to realize that whether my hand is open, closed, whatever, as long as I'm interacting positively with it, I get to retain it. It comes back to the whole resource guarding thing that we talked about in other videos, that everything that I want is available. I just need to show you the right approach. And because puppies mouthing and licking is communication, they need to realize that there's a positive way to do that. You need to keep your hand open. This is really important because once hands are closed, there's tension in us, and there's all sorts of downstream problems that need to happen. So if your hand is nice and open and nice and relaxed, then obviously your stress levels are minimal as well, and the puppy starts to get a really positive association that licking is a cool thing, and everything that follows on from it's pretty calm as well. And the last and most important thing is to stay calm. So regardless what the puppy throws at you, you need to retain control, because the more intensity that the puppies throw at you and the more intensity that you put back into the situation, the more stress we're putting in, and then everything just goes out of hand. But stay calm as best as you can. So there's a few things that we also need to realize that we effectively shouldn't do if we're trying to get some very good success at mouthing. So the first thing is, do not pull your hand away. You probably noticed halfway through the demonstration that I did with Bonnie that I showed you mimicked pulling a hand away. Now that's a natural instinctive behavior. So if a puppy goes to bite you and it hurts, you tend to pull away. Now the problem with that is it's cause and effect. So the puppy bites you or mouths you, you pull your hand away and the puppy goes, that's exactly what I need you to do. Every time I mouth and bite you, you pull your hand away, so it re-energizes the game. And that's not a good thing. So the puppy needs to realize that all of these behaviors that we consider unpleasant won't produce any behavior in you, because you're not going to reward it by pulling your hand away. So if the puppy mouths you and your hand stays still, the puppy goes, that didn't work. And then if it licks you, then your hand's interactive. Then the puppy goes, well, that's a better way for you to move. And it learns that that's a better way to communicate with you. The next thing that follows on from this is do not act hurt in any way. Now, there's a lot of dog trainers on YouTube that will say to you that you've got to act hurt and the puppy needs to feel sorry for you. That is the biggest myth on the face of the planet. Teaching dogs in the service agencies, police, prison or military to actually bite harder is by showing pain when they actually inflict any kind of mouthing or biting on you. So if you want your puppy to mouth you even harder and push stronger, then act hurt. So remember, do not act hurt. You are acting completely neutral. So if your puppy mouths you and it hurts and you're cringing, keep your hand there and the puppy goes, wow, that didn't work. So then it will try something else. And if it gives you a passive, nice, calm behavior like licking, we can then reward it. Very, very important. And the last one is do not get angry. The more angry we get, the more stressed we get, the more intense our behavior gets, the more it escalates in the puppy. And if you notice, Bonnie's a quite strong, motivated pup. So dogs and puppies that have actually got a lot of energy and a lot of drive will effectively channel your mood or your intensity or your anger or your frustration and act accordingly. So very important to stay as calm as you physically can. Now the last part that we need to talk about is the channeling of the mouthing onto something more constructive. Now you probably hear a lot of people talk about tug of war creating aggressive dogs. It couldn't be further from the truth. Tug of war effectively gives the dog an outlet where it learns to pull and mouth and chew on something that's actually quite fun and quite constructive. And if we channel that behavior into the dog with something like a towel or a tug toy or whatever it is, then the dog has actually got a genuine outlet that it can engage with us and play with us on a whole lot of different levels and actually get that energy out of its system in a natural, structured way. Really important. Thank you for making it through to the end. I hope you found this video on mouthing informative. As usual, if you have any questions or concerns, please don't be afraid to leave me a comment. If you like the video, please hit the like and share button so we can pass the message around. And if you want to know a bit more information about any other topics, by all means, leave me a comment as well and tell me what else you'd like me to do a video on, and I'll gladly help you. Thanks again, folks. Hope you're staying safe. Enjoy your day.